Gloria, and I'm Randy Hansen. In today's World News headlines, Pentagon says Iran fired at U.S. surveillance drone. In winning Florida, Obama beats Romney 332 to 206 in Electoral College. And Obama weeps in campaign headquarters visit. Preps for economy address. And CBO says ending tax cuts for top earners won't hinder growth. And 761,000 plus remain without power in Northeast. 3 New York City hospitals still closed. And Como says Sandy's economic toll could top $50 billion. And New York City imposes gas rationing in post-Sandy fuel shortage. And Loeffner sentenced to life for Arizona shooting rampage. An Israeli deputy prime minister says not a good morning for Netanyahu following Obama's re-election. Palestinians advanced draft UN resolution for non-member status. An Israeli troop kill Palestinian boy in Gaza. And Obama to make landmark visit to Burma. An activist question Arizona Sheriff Joe Arpaio election over uncounted ballots in Maricopa County. And Las Vegas business owner fires for 22, mostly Hispanic workers, over Obama re-election. And arrests made in spat of Michigan shootings. An appeals court dismisses lawsuit against Rumsfeld for arrests. But before these stories, GVTV News would like to thank one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it's us. GVTV News. In today's first world news story, the Pentagon has confirmed that Iran fired at a pilotless U.S. drone last week, but missed its target. Pentagon spokesperson George Little insisted the incident occurred in international, not Iranian, airspace, and vowed that U.S. surveillance flights would continue. He said the incident occurred over the international 18 or 16 nautical miles off the Iranian coastline. The MT-1 was not hit and returned to its base safely. The United States has communicated to the Iranians they will continue to conduct surveillance flights over the international waters over the Arabian Gulf, consistent with long-standing practice and our commitment to the security of the region. We have a wide range of options from diplomatic to military to protect our military assets and our forces in the region, and so we'll do so when necessary. News comes as the Obama administration announced a new round of sanctions against Iran, its first foreign policy initiative since Tuesday's election. The 2012 election has come to a close after final vote count confirmed President Obama won the state of Florida. Mitt Romney's campaign conceded Florida on Thursday, with Obama ahead by over 58,000 votes. Obama's final electoral college tally was 332 votes to Romney's 206. Video has been released of President Obama breaking into tears as he thanked workers and volunteers at his Chicago campaign headquarters. Obama made the visit the day after he won re-election, and he said, "Even before last night's results, I felt the work that I had done in running for office had come full circle, because you are the guys that have done means what that the work that I'm doing is important." And I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud of you, all of you. President Obama is expected to deliver his first address since his victory speech. Well, he probably already said it by now. Statement on economy. Topping Obama's post-election domestic agenda is so-called fiscal cliff. of $700 billion in expiring tax cuts and automatic spending reductions set to take effect at the end of the year. Under the terms of last year's debt deal, Obama and Senate Democrats must agree on a deficit reduction package with House Republicans or face automatic cuts that will likely contract the economy. On Thursday, a new study in Congressional Budget Office and Obama's call for ending the Bush-era tax cut for the wealthiest Americans while maintaining cuts for lower-income brackets will not hinder economic growth. Republicans have insisted on preserving tax cuts for the rich under any deficit reduction package, claiming it would protect jobs. But the nonpartisan CBO estimated the move would reduce job growth by as much as 200,000, far less than the 700,000 cited by House Speaker John Boehner. More than 761,000 homes and businesses remain without power on the East Coast Thursday after a powerful nor'easter knocked out electricity for tens of thousands on top of those still in the dark from Superstorm Sandy. The number includes more than 20,000 residents' public housing in New York City, which in some cases also lack heat and running water. 3 of the New York City's hospitals remain closed after losing power during the storm. There is no current timetable for them reopening. On Thursday, New York's Governor Andrew Cuomo said economic damage from the storm could reach $50 billion. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo said the first cost estimate that I have seen has suggested that this storm will cost the region $50 billion in damage and economic loss. The state of New York about $33 billion in damage and economic loss. That is a staggering number. In face of the ongoing fuel shortage, New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg has unveiled a new rationing system for the purchase of gas. On Thursday, Bloomberg said motorists will only be able to purchase gas on alternating days, depending on whether their license plate ends in odd or even numbers. He said only 25% of our gas stations we estimate are open. Drivers are still facing long lines. Frustrations are only growing, and it appears now that there will be shortages for possibly another couple of weeks. Best way we think to cut down the lines and to help customers buy gas faster, to help gas stations stay open longer, and to reduce the potential for disorder is to alternate the days that drivers can purchase gas. Arizona shooter Jared Loughner has been sentenced to life in prison for the rampage in Tucson last year that killed 6 people and wounded 13 others, including Democratic Representative Gabrielle Giffords. Under the plea deal reached earlier this year, Loughner will spend the rest of his life in prison with no chance of parole. John Leonardo, the U.S. Attorney for Arizona, said prosecutors decided not to seek the capital punishment because of Loughner's mental health. And Leonardo said, for the family members of those who were killed and for those that survived this terrible event, it is our hope that the final resolution of this case will be a positive step towards their healing process, physically, emotionally, and psychologically. It was with them in mind that we entered into this plea agreement with the defendant. We also believe that this sentence is appropriate in light of Jared Loughner's severe mental illness. It seems likely that Mr. Loughner, had he not suffered from mental illness or of schizophrenia, he would not have committed these horrific acts. At Thursday's court hearing, Loughner faced a number of his victims, including the Giffords and her former congressional aide, Ron Barber. Barber spoke to reporters after the sentencing. And he said, and then I turned to Mr. Loughner and said, I hold no hatred for you, but I'm very, very angry and sick at heart about what you did and the hurt that you have imposed on all of us. I told him that he must live with this burden. He'll never be able to see the outside of a prison again. I said, in the end, I hope that these long years of incarceration that you face will give you the time to think about what you have done and to seek forgiveness from those whose lives, in which those lives you've brought so much tears and so much sadness. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is confronting a new diplomatic challenge with President Obama's re-election after publicly defying the Obama administration on the West Bank settlements, pushing for military attacks on Iran, and even appearing to back Mitt Romney in the presidential race. Netanyahu is facing pressure from within his government to repair strained Israeli-U.S. ties. Hours after Obama's victory, Israeli Deputy Prime Minister Eli Yishai said this has not been a very good morning for Netanyahu. Later in the day, Netanyahu staged a news conference with U.S. Ambassador Dan Shapiro to publicly congratulate Obama on his win, and he said, "I want to congratulate President Obama on his re-election. I think the United States of America again demonstrated why it's the greatest democracy on earth. The security relationship between the United States and Israel is rock solid. I look forward to working with President Obama to further strengthen this relationship, and I look forward to working with him to advance our goals of peace and security." Netanyahu followed up his comments with a personal telephone call to Obama on Thursday. One of the first tests of Obama's post-election Middle East policy will come this month as the Palestinian Authority seeks non-member status on the United Nations, which the United States forcefully opposed last year. The move would grant Palestinians recognition at bodies like the International Criminal Court that they would potentially bring cases against Israel. If approved, the move could trigger a U.S. law that would force the defunding of the PA, the Palestinian Authority, and even the entire United Nations. On Thursday, the Palestinian Authority went ahead with its efforts, circulating a draft resolution for recognition to the UN members. In news from the occupied territories, a Palestinian boy was killed Thursday in an Israeli attack on Gaza Strip. The boy was shot as Israeli troops exchanged fire with Palestinian militants near the Israeli-Gaza border. The White House has announced President Obama will visit Burma later this month as part of an administration's effort to unfreeze ties with the ruling military junta. Obama's visit will mark the first to Burma by a sitting U.S. president. Activists in Arizona are challenging the re-election of controversial Sheriff Joe Arpaio. Citing a large amount of uncounted ballots, Arpaio has faced widespread accusation of discrimination, civil rights abuses against Latinos, as well as financial misconduct. Election officials in Maricopa County have acknowledged some 415,000 early and provisional ballots remain uncounted, a total that could wipe out Arpaio's election victory of 88,000 votes. Activists have been holding vigils outside the Maricopa County Recorder's office demanding that the votes be counted and alleging Election Day irregularities. A man claimed to be a business owner in Las Vegas has publicly announced he has fired 22 of his more than 114 mostly Hispanic employees because of the President Obama's re-election. Speaking anonymously to the radio station KSNT, the man blamed the expected cost of President Obama's health care law. And he said, "David, I explained to them a month ago, if Obama gets into office, the regulations for Obamacare are going to hurt our business, and I'm going to have to make provisions to make sure that I have enough money to cover the payroll taxes. The additional health care I'm going to have to do," and explained that to them, and I said, "You do what you feel in your heart you need to do, but I'm letting you know that as a warning that this thing that I have to think of as a business owner. Well, unfortunately, that most of my employees are Hispanic. I'm not going to go into what kind of company I have, but I have mostly Hispanic employees. Well, unfortunately, we know what happened. I can't wait around anymore. I need to be proactive. I had to lay off 22 people today to make sure that my business is going to thrive and that I'm going to be around for years to come." A suspect has been arrested in Michigan for a spat of shootings attacks that terrorized residents in the town of Wixom. Raleigh Wayne Castile is accused of carrying out 24 random shootings at motorists driving along the Interstate 96 corridor. Only one person was wounded in the attacks over the course of 3 weeks. A federal appeals court has dismissed a lawsuit against former U.S. Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld for his role in crafting policies that led to torture in Iraq. In an 8-3 decision, the U.S. 7th Circuit Court of Appeals ruled 2 American citizens allegedly tortured at a U.S. military base in Iraq have no right to sue Rumsfeld and other U.S. officials. Plaintiffs Donald Vance and Nathan Ertel were reportedly arrested and tortured after collaborating with the FBI in an investigation of their employer in Iraq, the private security group Shield Group Security. The 2 men were eventually released and never charged with a crime. Wednesday's decision overturned 2 previous court rulings allowing the case to proceed. The Obama administration followed the Bush administration in seeking the lawsuit's dismissal. And that's it for today's world news. And now we'd like to thank one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it's us, GVTV News. And sorry about yesterday, but we had a glitch in our sound. Christopher's Old World Deli and Catering Company has brought its delicious food and service downtown Grass Valley. Do you like desserts? They got them. You like international style lunches? They got them. Christopher's Deli and Catering for parties, get-togethers, weddings, or whatever. Open 7 days a week. Bellstar Shop is a one-of-a-kind place you will find on the Ridge. Steaming hot coffee and a cool atmosphere with healthy food, organic desserts, and meals available. Belle and her smile will not be forgotten the first time you visit. That's right, it's time for the police blotter. Pictures in the blotter are not from these actual events, but used for visual aid only. These records are provided by local law enforcement from Public Records, Grass Valley Police Department on Wednesday. 9:26 a.m., a report was taken from 300 block of Columbia Avenue of a friend continuously harassing the caller via email regarding political views and character. 10:20 a.m., a report was taken from business 200 block of South Church Street of several fraud incidents. At 10:28 a.m., a report was taken from 600 block of Freeman Lane of possible illegal dumping. 11:35 a.m., a report was taken 600 block of South Auburn Street of a customer refusing to leave, cursing and possibly on drugs. And 12:21 p.m., a report was taken 1000 block of East Main Street of a 50-year-old man fondling a 15-year-old girl. They were married and she was of legal age. 1:42 p.m., a report was taken from 500 block of Brighton Street, the theft of a credit card number. 1:45 p.m. a report was taken Mill and West Main Street of a person who ran over a 7-year-old's foot. No medical attention was needed. 1:49 p.m. a report was taken 800 block of Sutton Way of a man hit a woman. They had left the scene. And 3:06 p.m. a report was taken 300 block of Buena Vista Street of identity theft. And 4:09 p.m. a report was taken Packard Drive and Butler Street requesting extra patrols for illicit drug activity. And 4:46 p.m. a report was taken 100 block of Bank Street of theft of a cell phone. And 4:49 p.m. a report was taken 100 block of Mill Street and 2 men drinking beer in front of a business. Person was cited on suspicion of having an open container. 5:58 p.m. a report was taken 700 block of South Auburn Street of hearing 2 gunshots. And 6:06 p.m. a report was taken 100 block of Conaway Avenue of possible drug activity. And Thursday, 1:01 a.m., a man from 500 block of Bennett Street reported people stole his dog. And 4:29 a.m. a report was taken 1400 block of Sedgwood's Way of a man banging on doors. He could not be located. Nevada County Sheriff's Office on Wednesday, 8:01 a.m. a report was taken Nevada Union High School requesting a juvenile be cited on suspicion of drugs. And 10:22 a.m. a report was taken from a hospital on assault victim from 14,000 block of Rough and Ready Highway. 11:31 a.m., a man from 12,000 block of Sunset Avenue reported possible credit card fraud. 12:14 p.m., a report was taken 14,000 block Rattlesnake Road of theft of a bicycle. And 1 p.m., a report was taken 16,000 block of Ariel Court of identity theft. And 1:21 p.m., a boy on Brewer Road reported someone banging on the front door. And 1:52 p.m., a woman from 14,000 block of Barn Owl Lane reported possible identity theft. At 1:57 p.m., a report was taken 13,000 block of Falling Leaf Lane of possible check fraud. And 2:30 p.m., a woman from 14,000 block of Edgewater Court reported that her landlord, with whom she had having a dispute, dumped a large pile of horse manure on her property. 3:11 p.m., a report was taken 11,000 block of Layla Lane of a burglary and vandalism. At 6:22 p.m., a woman from Little Valley Road reported someone stole her belongings. At 6:47 p.m., a report was taken for Highway 49 and Lime Kiln Road of theft of a van. And 7:27 p.m., a report was taken 10,000 block of Combe Road of a drunken man urinating in a planter. He could not be located. At 7:33 p.m., a report was taken from West Hacienda Drive and Combe Road of a partially nude man. He was not located. And Thursday, 1:01 a.m., a woman from 10,000 block of School Street reported hearing 2 gunshots. And 7:05 a.m., a report was taken 15,000 block of Little Valley Road of a person screaming and throwing items from mailboxes. That's it for the Police Blotter today, and I would like to thank another one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it is us, GVTV News.
Soundcheck Music Center, the rock and roll connection. We have guitars, amps, drum equipment, sound accessories, lessons, and repairs. We are located at 671 Maltman Drive, Grass Valley. 530-272-7236, open 7 days a week.
And local news headlines, San Juan Ridge Mine Environmental Review to begin. The Nevada County Planning Department issued a notice of preparation, or the NOP, of an Environmental Impact Report, an EIR, for the proposed reopening of the San Juan Ridge Mine by the San Juan Mining Corporation. This signals the beginning of an environmental review process for the mine under the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, and the beginning of a 30-day scoping period during which the Planning Department will accept comments from the public agencies, and other interested parties as to what issues should be addressed by the EIR. A public scoping meeting will take place in front of the County Planning Commission at the Board of Supervisors Chambers, Eric Rood Center, 6 p.m. Wednesday, December 5th. In light of the past disastrous history of this mine and its impact on the surrounding communities, we are pleased that the county has seen fit to require a new EIR for this project, said the SJRTA President Gary Parsons. When the gold mine operated in the 90s, 12 local wells went dry, including those in the local school and the cultural center. New wells were drilled and old wells deepened by mine's owner Siscon Gold Corporation. But water quality was poor in most cases. The mine was shut down in August '97, and as water refilled the mine, the depleted aquifer tested at Grizzly Hill schools, showing high levels of minerals, odor, color, acidity, and turbidity. Children reported feeling sick from drinking the water, and the school was forced to use bottled water for over 10 years. The school has since installed a treatment and filtration system in order to comply with the Nevada County drinking water standards. Contamination of the school's well has cost the school district well over $100,000, and the district continues to pay about $7,000 per year to maintain the water treatment system. In times like these, with the cuts occurring across the board for public schools, this is a horrendous use of public tax dollars. Those monies should be going to educate our children, not paying for the missteps of private industry, said Kurt Lorenz of the Twin Ridges School Board. Some residents whose wells were affected also reported being made ill from their water after the 97 closure of the mine. The stress and the misery that was experienced by our community during the Siscon era is not something we want repeated. Water quality in affected wells has not recovered, and some residents still have to live with that burden and expense of treating their water and pumping from deeper wells. On October 23rd, Nevada County Board of Supervisors approved a contract for $179,811 with the Rancho Cordova Consulting Firm PMC to prepare an EIR for the project. We're happy to hear Planning Director Brian Foss say the environmental analysis would not rely on old data or reports because much of the information contained in those studies is erroneous, said Parsons. Many local business owners have also expressed concerns since most of the area's businesses depend on the well water. The mine would pose a direct threat to water supplies at 4 of the largest ridge businesses, employing over 200 local residents and generating almost $10 million annually in economic activities, said local business owner Stephanie Friedland, whose jewelry company borders the proposed mine. This is not a job versus the environment issue. This is a direct threat to hundreds of existing jobs versus a handful of speculative short-term jobs probably filled by out-of-county workers. Ridge has a vibrant and diverse local economy with 30-year track record of job creation. Without water, our business die. This project makes no economic sense. Stay apprised on the environmental review and process. Citizens can contact Nevada County Senior Planner Todd Herman, 530-265-1257. That's 265-1257. Todd.Herman at co.nevada.ca.us. Or the San Juan Ridge Taxpayers Association, info at sjrtaxpayers.org or 292-3392, I think. And that's it for local news today. Now we'd like to thank Union, Amy Goodman, Reuters, Associated Press, others for the source of my news, and you for watching. And that's it for today.